News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
The University of Montana may face even more reduced enrollment. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Thursday, September 15th, 2016. Skies mostly clear. Of course, it's dark, but we have 39 degrees in Missoula right now. Our newscast this morning is sponsored by Selway Armory on Stockyard Road. With more guns and ammo than anyone in Missoula, the best prices in Montana, they are Montana's premier firearms dealer. Our top story this morning, according to NBC Montana, the projected 2017 budget anticipates a drop of 700 students or more in fall enrollment. Spokesperson Paula Short was at the Board of Regents meeting in Billings yesterday.
The good news is that the Commissioner's Office did present to the Board of Regents that system-wide enrollment appears at this time to be consistent with the budgets at each of those units. And so enrollment is going to fall consistent with the budget that has been prepared at the University of Montana, for example.
Short said officials worked on their budget with a general sense of the number of students that would be on campus, which, according to the NBC Montana report, could be a decrease of 6.6%.
They do know the trend at U of M has been that the graduating classes have been bigger than the incoming classes. And so they've been able to use some of that trend data. And the good news is that it appears that the projected enrollment is going to be in line with how they've built the budget.
Short said officials at UM and throughout the Montana University system will be able to publish firm numbers toward the end of September. A Texas man charged with killing a Montana man and shooting two others told investigators he feared for his life. The Montana Standard reports jurors hearing the case against 48-year-old Tony Sawyer watched a video of law enforcement officers questioning him. Sawyer is charged with deliberate homicide in the death of Joe Powers of Whitehall and the attempted deliberate homicide for shooting and injuring Steve Drury and Hunter Smith. Sawyer told investigators he and other men had used methamphetamine before driving to the rural area about 13 miles southeast of Butte. He said he believed Drury had planned to, quote, get rid of him, end quote. He said he pleaded with Drury before he fired 3 rounds. Sawyer acknowledged shooting Powers and Smith, who were standing nearby. The surviving victims were expected to testify yesterday. The Montana Highway Patrol calls it unrestrained when someone is not wearing a seatbelt, and it's the cause of nearly 70% of Montana's traffic fatalities. Captain Jim Kitchen cites one of the recent tragic accidents that occurred last week on I-90 near Clinton.
2 fatalities we had with the 3-year-old and her father were due to no restraint. They were actually laying down, it seems, in the back of that vehicle when it rolled. So we're having a lot of issues with people not wearing seatbelts. We just had one in the Flathead as well.
Kitchen goes on to describe what happens inside a vehicle when riders are not restrained.
If the driver's not restrained and you have a child or something in the area, that person that's inside that vehicle is going to smash into those other people. You know, you're going 75 miles an hour, and believe me, the people inside that vehicle are rolling around like rag dolls, and it kills other people as well.
Kitchen ends with a plea from someone who has seen too much unnecessary suffering and death on Montana's highways.
It tears your heart out when you're seeing young children, or anybody for that matter, that wasn't wearing a seatbelt get killed when you go to these crashes and you look and you see the cabin compartment intact, but that person went out the window and died. They would have been alive. There
have been 144 confirmed traffic deaths on Montana's highways so far in 2016. The west side of Glacier National Park's Going to the Sun Road is open again 3 days after snow and ice forced crews to close the iconic route. The Flathead Beacon reports the section of road from Big Bend to Logan Pass reopened to traffic yesterday morning. The east side from Jackson Glacier Overlook to Logan Pass was reopened Tuesday. Park officials closed the Alpine section of the road Sunday after an inch and a half of snowfall. The highway is expected to remain open through mid-October, of course, weather permitting. Speaking of parks, the southern approach to Yellowstone National Park is reopened now that rain and cooler temperatures have calmed down a wildfire. Strong wind caused the fire to make a 6-mile run on Sunday. The fire raced over the highway that crossed through the John D. Rockefeller Memorial Parkway between Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Parks. Firefighters are now planning to scale back their efforts with help from rain and even some high-elevation snow. An evacuation order remains in place for the Flag Ranch Resort. Firefighters sprayed water on the resort buildings to protect them on Sunday. The fire began in July, has been burned about 32 square miles of woodland. Some 200 firefighters have been on the scene. All summer long, Missoula police have been following up on increased reports of bicycle thefts and recently uncovered a stash with dozens and dozens of stolen bicycles. Here's Travis Welsh with the police department.
We devoted a lot of resources to it. We came up with an address, and when we went and made contact with folks there, we realized that there were many, many bikes, lots of bike parts, and we began to seize those items due to potential relation to the stolen reports that we had received.
So far, the county attorney's office has not filed any charges against the bike theft suspects, so police can't release any names or information. There is, however, a resource for those who think their stolen bicycle might have been recovered.
At last count, and keep in mind that we're still dealing with a lot of parts separated from frames, we had roughly around 70 bicycles. We have established our volunteers to receive phone calls, and we're asking people to call 552-6311 and either speak to one of our volunteers there or leave a message so that we can call you back.
It isn't clear whether the bikes were being sold or taken apart for cash, but the fact that so many of the bikes had been dismantled into parts has led to claims that Missoula police discovered a bicycle chop shop. Montana Congressman Ryan Zinke spoke on the floor of the House yesterday about the boom in methamphetamine use in Montana. Zinke highlighted the situation here in Missoula for his colleagues in the U.S. House.
You know, meth affects all of our communities. In Montana, the criminal justice system and foster care systems are being pushed to their absolute limits. In Missoula County, this year, 72 cases of meth. At the same time in 2007, there were 0. And the meth seizures are up 38%.
Zinke went on to offer two possible solutions, one of which has been a constant theme during this election year.
We need to stop the drug from making its way to communities, and we need to secure our southern border. The FBI, DIA, Border Patrol, local enforcement officials all say the same thing. Mexico is where the preponderance of the drugs are coming from. We know how to stop it, and we can shut it down, and we can secure our southern border.
Zinke also called for the House to empower our health providers to help treat meth addiction. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Ample sunshine today with our high temperatures in the mid-70s. Northwest winds this afternoon at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, lows in the low 40s. Highs will be right around 80 Friday and Saturday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.